Today is December 3rd, 2003. We're here with William Thomas and Rosemary Duff. These are my grandparents. I'm going to ask them a couple questions that I don't know about them. So first, I would like to ask Pop-Pop, what were your parents' names and your grandparents' names, and where were they from?
Well, my parents' name was William, but I don't know his middle initial, William Duff, and my mother's name was Josephine Hope. Now my grandparent was I don't know their names. I was just a baby and wasn't aged where I could find out their name when they died. So I really don't know my grandparents' name.
Do you know where they were from?
Well, they were originally from England and Ireland. And one parent on my mother's side was from Germany, in Ireland. So it's a mixed up family, but that's how it is.
Well, that's a good thing. And Mom?
My mother was Catherine Winterholer, and her father was Frank. What the heck's his name? I don't remember my mother's Winterholer. That's all.
And your grandparents?
She married Harry Jones. My mother married Harry Jones. And his parents, it was from Ireland and Germany. No. I was really getting messed up.
It's okay.
My mother's mother was from Germany. She's German. And her father was Irish. But my father's side was Irish and English.
Okay.
Her name was Margaret Kelly, his mother, and her father was Harry Jones.
And Pop-Pop, when were you born?
December 13, 1919.
And Mom?
October the 4th, 1927.
So you have a difference in what, 7 years, 8 years
7
there?
years.
7 years and something.
And Mom, you said something about you lied to Pop-Pop about your age a little bit?
Yeah, I was 16 when I first met him, but I told him I was 20. And then when we were getting married, I told him we had to take my father, so he had to sign for me at 18. So that was, I was 18 when we got married. You were what, 27, 25?
Well,
25.
around 26, 27.
And Pop-Pop, where did you spend your childhood? What town? And
Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. Spent my entire life there.
where at in Philadelphia?
Oh, mostly in the Kensington section of Philadelphia.
And what were your parents like to you when you were a young child?
To me?
Yeah, how did they treat you? Say, let's...
Well, there was 8 of us children, and I didn't get a lot of personal attention. I was on my own most of the time. Not a lot of personal attention. They tried to do the best they could with all them children.
And did you, I guess you, through your childhood, you did live through the Depression, right?
Oh yes, we had a depression and a First World War.
What did your father do during the Depression?
He was out of work actually, and he got part-time jobs, and we had a tough time of it, our family. We struggled to get food and housing. We had a real tough time of it. 8 kids, and it was tough.
And
it went on for several years.
And what do you What do you say you learned the most out of the experience of the Depression, Pop-Up, being a child?
What I learned to probably take care of myself on my own and try to advance my life by doing things I thought would help me in the future. And even though I was a young kid, I thought about it all the time, trying to get help to move ahead so I wouldn't be like I was at that time with nothing.
And Mom, what was your, where did you spend your childhood?
And well, I was born in Richmond, Philadelphia. Then we moved over to Kensington when I was 8 years old. I had 5 sisters and 3 brothers. So it was kind of rough. My father was he was in the Army, and he was in the what's that war? Argonne Forest battle. And he...
Where was that? In France.
In France. That was 1917. Was it? 18.
I don't know, around that. 16.
1916. My sister, like I said, my oldest sister is Catherine. Margaret is the second one. Joel was the third. Frank was the first, the boy. And then there was Ann, Al, me, and Dot. So we had quite a few of us, and we had a tough life. When my dad got out of the Army, he couldn't find a job, but he was a sign painter. He used to paint signs, but he never really worked. So we had to ship for ourselves. Many times we were left without food at nighttime. We had no food. But other than that, we grew up and took care of ourselves.
How did your parents scold you? How did they scold you? How did they reprimand you?
He was
my
never
word,
bad.
my word, they'd tell you and you followed whatever they told you. It was a command. I wasn't beaten. There was no physical beatings, but command.
And Mom?
Well, I was a bad one.
I'd say discipline you.
Well, no, but she couldn't discipline me because I'd go out every time she'd say
to
this.
say all that.
It's okay.
That's all right, they want to know.
Pop-Up,
I'm never ashamed to say anything.
No, my dad smacked me on my butt plenty of times, so did my mom, so.
But no, my mother never hit me or my father never hit me. It was just, well, saying, you're going to stay in, you're restricted. So, but like I said, I had a lot of brothers and sisters to kid around with and all. So we used to play a lot of games in the house, play cards, jacks. So we always was home at nighttime. We was never allowed out.
Who was your first kiss, Pop-Up? Your first kiss, do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember, but I really don't. That's the God's truth.
No,
I don't remember that.
Neither of you remember?
No.
Wow.
No, it didn't impress me, I guess, so I never remembered it.
Who was your best friend?
Mine,
Mm-hmm.
I had a very good friend called Walt Saylor, and he was, I guess, as I was growing up, he was my best friend.
And my mom?
Well, I had a lot of friends, but they came and I moved away and, everybody parted. But I had a lot of friends.
Pop-Up, when did you go to war and how old were you? And what made you decide to go? And what made you decide to go?
Because our country was threatened and I was available. I thought I should do it. I didn't expect anybody else. I thought it was my job. I enlisted in the Army and I went, it was 1940, I believe, or late 40, and I was 20 years old, somewhere between 19 and 20, and I came out in 46.
How did the war change you?
The war changed me. Well, I don't know. I come out of there a little shook up, but you know, there's a lot of things happen and makes you mentally upset. I guess it changed me. It made me a little unstable, but I straightened myself out.
Luckily for us, right?
Yeah.
Mom, what did you do during the war?
I was a shipyard worker. I was a welder. And they called me Rosie the Riveter. And I was one of the ladies that worked on the U.S. New Jersey. It's parked here now.
All right.
So I worked on that ship there.
You helped build that?
Yeah,
Have you been there since?
just once.
All right.
I lied about my age there too. I was in there 15 years old doing the welding jobs on the ship.
When did the two of you meet?
We
It was at
at a club.
a club, a Sunday night club in Philadelphia. I can't remember
It
exactly.
was a Sunday night. It was a
It
Sunday
was a
night.
Sunday night. We met in a dance club. We had danced like a cocktail lounge, but a club atmosphere. And we danced. I asked her to dance. We danced together. And of course she was a very good dancer. And I enjoyed that. And we met several times again in the club.
Did you get her phone number, or
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
the first time?
The first time, and I believe I took her home and got a date.
Did you ask your father for a date?
No, I went. I just asked her, and she agreed to it.
Did your parents meet the other significant other?
No,
So there was no...
wasn't done really that way in the poor neighborhoods like us.
Do you remember where your first kiss was between the two of you?
Kiss goodnight.
Hmm?
On Lehigh Avenue. Kiss goodnight.
Yeah, we had.
And you ran up the Lehigh Avenue to get the trolley car. He was always wanting to get home. It's time to go. There was no cars in them days.
When were you married?
Uh,
June 8th,
June 8th, 1946.
Do you remember how Pop asked you to marry him?
Yeah, he says, stick around, I'll be useful someday.
we mutually agreed. We talked about it, and we finally did it.
We met in December and got married in June.
Wow.
So we're married 56 years.
And never regretted a day.
And from the time that you met, how long till Jan came along?
About a year. 1
I was
year.
born 1947, April 18th.
And what was that like, having, being parents?
Fine.
We were in a small home in Philadelphia on a street called
Fair Hill.
Fair Hill, and we were only paying $15 a month rent there, and we had Janice in the hospital. Our first child was called Janice, a girl. We had her in the hospital, Nazareth Hospital,
No, Northeast.
or Episcopal?
Oh, Episcopal Hospital.
Episcopal, correct that.
And when was that? Do you remember?
That was
1947,
April.
April the 18th.
And out of all the kids, who was the hardest kid to deal with? Out of Jan, my father, and Kelly?
I think your father, my son Michael.
I would agree.
Yeah, he had his own opinion about everything. We had to try to get him on the right track. But he turned out to be a good, I would say,
Good man.
honorable citizen and a good man, good father, and good grandfather.
I agree. My mom, it is said that you're pretty accurate with the shoe. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I don't know about now. Then I was.
And I guess that was just mainly to my dad, though, huh?
Yeah, because he was,
We didn't beat the children.
He was kind of like me.
yeah, I'd say that.
Well, at least now I know where I come from. Pop-Up, how did you handle Jan and Kelly's bad boyfriends?
Well, as a matter of fact,
It
we
happened.
never got involved. They never brought it anybody bad home that caused me to get involved with them. So they handled it outside the household. I didn't have to do anything, no guidance in that area. They already had enough common sense to handle the problems.
Now, where were you living when you had all three of the kids, or did you have all three in the house at one time?
No, one at a time, and two, we had one child in Philadelphia, that was Janice, and two in,
Michael was in Palmyra,
one child in Palmyra,
and Kelly was in
Willingboro, New Jersey. Palmyra, New Jersey, the third child, Willingboro, New Jersey.
Now, do you remember where you were when Janice told you that you were going to be grandparents?
Yes, we were home. She was overseas in Italy with her husband, Mark. And she told us she was pregnant and she wanted to come home and have the baby
in the
at
United
home.
States.
And she came home and she had the baby, and Mark was still over in Italy, her husband.
What was he doing in Italy?
He was a soldier.
Oh.
That was
And
the Korean War, wasn't it?
That was the Vietnam War.
Vietnam War.
what happened, Papa, with your first heart attack? Where were you?
I was in Willingboro when Sunday morning, I got severe pains and they took me away, Willingboro, New Jersey, and they took me away in an ambulance. Police came and put me on a stretcher, took me away to Rancocas Valley Hospital in Willingboro.
And the same day, Patrick was born.
Then I met you up there. You were in one room, I was in another.
Where were you, my mom, when he had his heart attack?
I was with him. Yeah, I was called the doctor and we took him to the hospital.
What about Christmas? When did Christmas start, like, at our house or at your house here, becoming such a big event?
Oh,
We started in Willingboro.
Willingboro.
Yeah. We had
Before I was born?
Over.
Yeah, we were all little.
Yeah.
And it just,
You're too little to remember, and I'm sure.
Well, not. That's why we'll make videos. Do you have anything to say to your great-great-great-grandchildren, years and years from now?
I don't know, really. The world is changing so rapidly, Pat, that advice from us in this era will probably be no good 20, 30 years from now. So I really don't have anything to say about that.
Mama?
I don't know what to say.
What about unity? Showing how you guys stuck together, and it shows...
We loved each other. I love her. Still do.
And is there anything about yourself that you think the family should know about you or in your life that, maybe a good event, something that you've done, maybe some of the medals you've won?
Well, no, I don't think I needed any medals. It was a job I should do for my country. You're probably referring to the service.
Well, the service or anything else in your life that,
I didn't do much more than that. Just worked every day, went to work at age 15, and worked 52 years for the same company without losing a day's work other than my illness.
So you never missed a day's work except for your heart attack?
That's it, yeah.
Yep.
Not a cold, not a flu?
No, I
You
walked to work with no automobile,
Yeah.
and we're where we are today because of that.
What about you, Mom? Would you like to tell any of the great-great-grandkids or anything about yourself that you've done in your life?
Not really.
What about your job? You've continued to work up until a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And, did you need to work or
No, I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed work. I like meeting people. It's just a part of me. Just liking, and I love waitressing. I don't like any jobs and doors or nothing. But I just like helping people and being needed. That's probably what it is.
Well, we need both of you, and I love both of you so much, and I thank you for doing this. And it was 20 minutes long, and that's not much, but, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it sounds interesting, but what
Yeah.
you're doing, I hope, wherever you show this or tell it, they enjoy it. You know, it's something very unusual, and I think it's something worthwhile.
Well, hopefully it's thought-provoking, and people want to know more about the
I'm
two
sure
of
it
you.
will be.
And,
It'll get more valuable as the years go by.
well, I thank you very much, Pop-Up, and thank you, my mom. And, again, I love you.
Thank
Right.
you, Patrick.